Do you need to spend $10,000 on a clarinet? Today, I'm going to play test all three of my Buffet clarinets, and we're going to find out which one is the best. Let's go. I want to know what type of clarinet you're playing. In the comments, please tell me what brand and model clarinet you're playing on. Drop it in the comments.
We're not in the music business. We are in the connection and relationship building business, right? And music is the vehicle that helps us connect and build relationships. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so please, look, I'm with y'all, man. Take care of the art, shed. I love that stuff. Y'all know me. But build relationships and connect with people. Use that stuff as a vehicle to build relationships, build your career. Have you guys ever said to yourself, damn, this artist sucks. They can't even play. They aren't even that good. Raise your hand if you've ever said that. Yeah, we all have, right? But check this out. It's not about the music, right? Because if it was about the music, we'd all like the same good music. But it's about the artist's ability to connect and build relationships with their target audience. And this is going to go back to the values. Their audience is not everyone.
Have a great day.
That's it. That's from 355 weeks ago. And check out, just to talk about consistency. Look at that consistency. I haven't listened to one thing and already you know what you're going to get. And check out also how an idea and a project has built over time, right? He didn't find success in 1 week or one post. These are hundreds of posts. Hey, look, there's me. But check this out, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna scroll up to now and just show y'all what years of doing this with consistency and people are fighting to get on his Instagram. He used to beg people to get on there, and now it's look at this, 13,000. I mean, he's got freaking 75,000 followers. So this is what consistency would look like and perseverance over a long period of time, right? Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? Gregory Agid here, and today I wanted to play test all three of my clarinets and see if we can hear a difference and come to a conclusion as to which clarinet is the best. I guess we're gonna have a Buffet Clarinet Shootout. Let's do it. Do you need to spend $10,000 in order to sound great on the clarinet? And today I'm gonna play test three different Buffet clarinets at different price points. I am going to play test a Buffet E11, which is an intermediate clarinet around the $1,000 price point. I am going to play test my Buffet Festival clarinet, which is about $6,000. And finally, I am going to play my Buffet Tosca, which is about $10,000. After playing these instruments, I want you to tell me if you can hear a difference in the price points of these various instruments. Musicianship will always outshine equipment. And I feel like it's important for me as an artist to be honest about that fact. If you sound good, it doesn't matter if you're playing on a $20 instrument or a $10,000 instrument. If you sound good, you sound good. That's just what it is. And I think someone like Charlie Parker is a fantastic example of musicianship outshining equipment. And without getting into too much detail about Charlie Parker and his personal life, he was probably playing a different horn every night. He would probably go into a pawn shop, pick up a horn, borrow a horn from one of his friends, but he was just playing random horns for, very prolific recording sessions and important concerts, playing random reeds, playing random ligatures. And every night he sounded phenomenal. So the equipment did not make Charlie Parker an amazing musician. Charlie Parker is an amazing musician, and the equipment was secondary to his level of playing. Musicianship will always outshine equipment. If y'all are anything like me, I'm sure you've fallen into the trap of telling yourself, if I buy this really expensive and beautiful piece of equipment, I'm gonna sound great. And I am 100% guilty of feeling that way. Practicing will always supersede equipment, right? If you don't practice, it doesn't matter if you have a $20,000 clarinet with a $20,000 ligature and a $1 million reed and all that kind of stuff. Practicing will always supersede expensive equipment. And I just want to be upfront and honest about that. And now my question is, what is the purpose of equipment? Well, equipment is just there to make your life easier. There is quality in expensive products. However, musicianship will always shine above and beyond the equipment that you're playing. If you're killing, it doesn't matter if you're playing a $100 instrument, you're going to sound killing. If you don't practice and you sound bad, it doesn't matter if you have the most expensive instrument in the world, you're just going to sound bad. So, what is the purpose of equipment? Equipment is here to make our life easier. Of course, there is better or worse equipment. And as an artist, we are choosing equipment because it's helping us bring the sound that we have in our mind into the real world. And part of that is the tone and timbre that the instrument creates. But another part of that is how the instrument actually feels. And if we feel comfortable playing on that instrument. And really, for me, I really find myself gravitating towards the comfort of certain equipment. And one of the reasons why I really love the Buffet Clarinets is that they just feel like home for me. The way the air flows through the instrument, the way my fingers feel on the keys, all of that just feels like home. And because I feel comfortable playing on that equipment, it just makes the mental process of creating music and bringing my sound, right, the sound of my internal ear into the real world, much easier and much more fun. I'm not fighting against anything. The equipment is helping me bring it out into the real world. A really important part of the process of becoming an artist is developing your mind's internal ear. And that's the sound that you hear inside of your head. And it doesn't matter what equipment that you're playing on, you're always going to gravitate back to that internal sound that you hear within yourself, right? Let's say you buy a brand new mouthpiece on Monday, and immediately you sound different because you're playing on a new piece of equipment. But 3 or 4 weeks later, you're sounding back to the way you used to sound. And that's because our mind's internal ear kind of acts like a magnet. We're always going to gravitate back towards that sound that we hear internally. And the equipment's function is to help us bring out that internal sound that we hear within ourselves. So that's why it's important to have equipment that is made with a high quality. It's important to have equipment that feels good and really assists us in bringing our internal sound into the real world. So just don't fall into the trap of saying to yourself, if I have this piece of equipment, it's going to make me sound different. And yes, equipment does sound different. There is a difference between clarinet model A and clarinet model B, but those differences are very small and minute, and 99% of people can't hear the difference between clarinet A and clarinet B. It really is important to, again, find equipment that feels good and helps us bring the internal sound that we hear within ourselves out into the real world. Today, I'm going to play test 3 different Buffet clarinets, and these are 3 clarinets that I own and that I play on. And I just wanted to make this video so that you can hear how different clarinets impact my tone. I've been playing Buffet clarinets my entire life. I got my first Buffet when I was in middle school. I believe it was a Buffet E11. And ever since that point, my ear and my fingers have always gravitated towards the Buffet sound. The first clarinet we're going to play is my Buffet E11. So let's check out the horn real quick. This is my Buffet E11. This is an intermediate model clarinet. I purchased this instrument about 5 or 6 years ago. This is made out of wood. It is also a polycylindrical bore, which is the same bore as the R13. Actually, all 3 of the clarinets that I'm going to be playing today have a similar bore design. I mainly use this instrument when I'm playing outside or some type of precarious situation, and I don't want to risk getting my really nice instruments in trouble. Overall, this clarinet has a beautiful sound. It's really easy to play. The air just flows through it really seamlessly. It has the feel of a professional instrument, but I believe it's not made with the same quality wood as my professional instruments. So that's why it's a little more budget friendly. But if you're looking for an instrument in the $1,000 price range, this is a fantastic instrument. I also believe that they discontinued this model at some point. So if you are looking to get a Buffet E11, you're probably going to have to buy one used, which is what I did with this one. I purchased this on eBay 6 years ago or so. And it's, obviously, y'all, it's still in fantastic condition. I had it repadded, had it worked on. There are a couple things that I would like to have changed on it. I think my ring heights are a little high. Just overall, I don't play this instrument a lot. So every time I do play it, it's, I have to get reaccustomed to playing the instrument. But anyways, Buffet E11, fantastic clarinet. The second instrument that we're going to play test is my Buffet Festival, and this is the horn that I mainly play on. This is my Buffet Festival right here. And I purchased this instrument about 5 or 6 years ago. It's an absolutely beautiful horn. It's made out of African blackwood. It is also the same bore family as the R13, has a polycylindrical bore. And as you can see, it also has the auxiliary E-flat, A-flat key on the left-hand side. And for me, this extra key right here is an absolute must. When you're playing chromatic passages or if you're transposing things through different keys, you absolutely need this auxiliary E-flat, A-flat on the left-hand side. This is the main instrument that I play on. It is one of my favorite horns. I think the Buffet Festival is a fantastic instrument. I actually had one when I was in college. I sold it, and then I've always regretted it and actually purchased this one a couple years ago. I think this horn has a very rich, beautiful centered sound, a lot of overtones. It cuts, but it has a wonderful, wonderful sound. And this is the main instrument that I play on these days. The final horn we're going to play test is my Buffet Tosca, and this is one of Buffet's top of the line clarinets. This is my Buffet Tosca right here, and I purchased this clarinet about 14 years ago, and y'all can see that I have played the ever-living you-know-what out of this instrument. The silver is starting to come off on some of these bottom keys, and again, this has the auxiliary E-flat, A-flat on the left-hand side. It also has an extra F venting key on the right-hand side. You can see it vents right over here. And this comes from the R13 bore family. It's made out of the same wood as the Buffet Festival. Overall, this was my main instrument for about 14 years. This is a fantastic instrument. I absolutely love it. Generally, I think that it has a very dark sound, and it has a little bit more spread than my Buffet Festival. It's really dark, really rich, and it's got this kind of mysterious tone to it. Just generally in the last couple of years, I was hearing a little more roundness in my sound. I'm just hearing a little more definition, in the center of my tone. And I think that's kind of why I was gravitating more towards the Festival. All right, y'all, let's play these clarinets. And I'm curious, can you hear a difference in the tone quality between the $1,000 clarinet, the $6,000 clarinet, and the $10,000 clarinet? Let's go. So now that I've play tested each one of the instruments, I'm going to share some of my thoughts. I think the biggest challenge for me in playing each one of these clarinets was just getting used to the difference in the way the keys were set up. And this is not necessarily a reflection on the instrument itself. I've had a lot of work done on these instruments, and they've all been set up by different technicians. So when they put the instruments back together, they set the key heights a little differently. So as I was switching between the instruments, it was a little challenging for me to get used to the difference in the key setup on each one of these horns. But overall, I really loved the way the air flows through each one of these clarinets. It's really easy to push air through the horn, and I feel like I'm getting a good return on my investment in terms of how much air I'm putting through the horn. Getting a beautiful sound, and it just feels really fun and easy to play. I think the biggest difference between the Tosca and the Festival for me was that the Tosca had a much darker and possibly spread sound. I don't know if that's the right word to describe the sound, but it's almost like the sound kind of diffuses out, while the Festival has a really defined center to the sound. And recently, in the type of music that I've been playing, I've actually found it really necessary to have that definition in my tone. So that's kind of why I've been gravitating more towards the Festival. But yeah, the Tosca is a fantastic instrument. It's a really dark, beautiful, woody sound, and just has a little bit more spread to it. The Festival overall here, my Festival, it is, just more center to the tone. There's more definition in the sound, and a little sweeter. I think there's a little bit more color on the edges of the tone. Thank you all so much for hanging with me today. I appreciate y'all's support. I appreciate everyone for leaving comments, hitting the like button, and subscribing to the channel. I think it's really cool that this channel has been growing so much over the past year, and I couldn't have done it without y'all. So thank you all very much for your support and your love. I hope you found today's video informative, and I hope that it helped you on your journey. Until next time, I'll catch you all later. Peace.